Does anyone ever actually ask themselves why so many people that dropped out of school or didn't go to college or didn't get a very big education, didn't become doctors or lawyers or scientists or whatever, managed to become successful in life? And here we are not talking just about being wealthy, like monetarily, we're talking about just in general, like mentally and physically, and just having a good, happy life. How come is it that every single person that decided to leave school, or not maybe every single one, but a lot of them that were smart enough for it, suddenly became these really rich and happy people? Because if you look around, I think the happiest people are the ones that do something differently. So it doesn't matter at what point of life you are in right now, whether you're still in primary school, in secondary school, in high school, in middle school, it doesn't matter if you're in college or whatever. But ask yourself, why am I doing this? Like, genuinely just ask yourself, what is the purpose of this? Where is this going to get me in life? Because I see so many people going into college to study some amazing subject, right? But then their whole life afterwards, what job they lead, they don't even use that degree that they got. I think at least 50% of people that go out there and do some sort of degree or do some sort of like college education or like higher level education don't even use that certificate that they received for it. And a lot of people spend money on that education. Not everybody does, but a lot of people do. A lot of people spend money to go to college, go to university, whatever you call it. But a lot of people waste so much of their time and so much of their money to what sometimes they do learn valuable things, right? They do. But most of the time, they don't even use that value. Because at the end of the day, you can have as much knowledge as you want. You can know, you can literally be Albert Einstein, you can know so much. But what can you actually do? What can you say that you achieved in your life? Because I think we keep telling ourselves we're going to do this right after I finish school. I'm going to do this, that, whatever. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be the most successful person ever. But then we finish school in whatever form, we go do a job, and somehow we barely make enough money to survive. So now we must ask ourselves, why is it like this? Why is it that people are constantly going through this whole like 20 plus years of education and they come out like a normal person, like someone that genuinely might do like a very important degree of like 4 years of medicine, and then they don't even do medicine? There's so many people that go through school and don't use whatever they have gone through. All this education that is offered to us is a good thing, but most people don't even know how to use it correctly, because there's so much ways that you can use this form of education correctly, but it is extremely difficult. So many people in this world that are truly wealthy are the ones that don't rely on their education. For example, influencers or some form of celebrities, like in acting. Most of these actors that you look at, the acting industry, so many of those people were discovered in such completely random situations. Or maybe it was because they were going somewhere that they knew they could get discovered. But seriously, you have to ask yourself, why so many people that are successful did not achieve it by using school or college or some sort of education to back themselves up? Because they know that whatever you do in school is not that as worth it as whatever you do in the real world. Because to be honest, once you reach 18 years old and you step out into the real world at whatever like time, like you literally like go out there, you buy your first house or rent something, or you get, I don't know, get your first job, you realize just how hard it is. And I think it hits you like that next stage of your life, because I feel like for most of us, or at least for me, it was always like, okay, I just want to get through school, right? We don't think in the future. We are so focused on, we just want to get through school. I just want to get this degree. I want to get this percentage on my test. And we don't really focus on what we will do after. All we see is this job and how it'll make us happy. But then we start this job or whatever you've done a degree in, and then you realize this isn't even for me. Like, what am I doing here? Like, is this just going to be the rest of my life? Like, the next 30 years, I'm just going to spend here grinding my life out for absolutely no reason? Just because 16-year-old me decided that I want to major in this or in that? What is the point of all this education when there are so many different pathways? There are so many things you can learn just by teaching yourself, just by using the internet, by using YouTube videos. People nowadays use social media to brain rot themselves. People use things, everything. They find ways in everything to like brain rot themselves, to make themselves stupider. But what if you looked at it the other way around? What if you found ways that in what people think are stupid, that you found ways to make money from it? What if you found ways to just in general use things to your advantage? Like the internet. I don't think my generation of people that was kind of like born when the internet was already there realizes how useful the internet can actually be. I just don't think it's hit us yet, but when it does, I think it's going to be too late for a lot of people. You might be asking, what can I do with like social media? What can I do with the internet? First of all, you can learn nearly anything with the internet. It doesn't matter what it's about. If it's you want to build furniture, you want to learn how to make a phone, you want to I don't know, learn how to train dogs, you want to crochet, you want to learn how to play chess, you want to be able to make something, maybe some art, or maybe you want to learn how to ride a bike or how to swim, or like literally whatever you want to do. I'm betting you it's on the internet in some form or another, because so many people have dominated this whole technology thing to the point that so many things are easy to learn just because people from all over the world are providing information for you. How stupid do you have to be not to take that opportunity? Genuinely, how stupid do you have to be not to use internet to your advantage other than Google translating something from your homework? Like, seriously, what are you doing? You could start social media about something you love. You could learn something and become like maybe the top 20, 30, or even 10% in the world at it, and you could somehow implement that skill or the thing that you learned into anything, into a social media account, into YouTube, into some form of marketing, or like different websites where you can earn money. Maybe you want to make your own website, or maybe you want to start a physical business and then market it online. Like, there's so many things you can do with the internet, and I don't think we realize that. I don't think it hits us yet, but people also don't realize it's extremely hard. It's hard work. It takes years at a time. That's why you should start when you're young, because that's when you have the most time. That's when you have nothing to lose. If you're still afraid to start something, go to college, but do a side hustle. Do something that is genuinely like worth your time. Have a backup plan. Don't just be like, oh, I'll go to school, I'll get this degree, and I'll work for the rest of my life, and then I'll retire at 70 years old. Do you know what roughly the average lifespan is? I think it's like 70 to 80 years old. I'm pretty sure. If the way I want to present it to you guys is like, let's just stick with 80, even though that's a bit high. So let's say you only have 80 years, but we don't think of it like that. I don't think it really hits us how not like 80 years is not a huge amount of time. So 80 years, only 80 springs, 80 summers, 80 autumns, and 80 winters. Not to mention the ones when you're like really young and you haven't even gained consciousness for like the first 5 years of your life, right? So that's at least decreasing to 75 years. Like, how crazy is it that we have such a small amount of time and we waste it on the stupidest things? How stupid do you have to be to go chasing something that was created by someone else? Because this whole system of schooling, in whatever form, whether that's in primary school or in college or in secondary school, high school, whatever, it was created by someone, and it's a system that has been followed for years and years and years on end. But still, when you look at so many things, when you look, I don't know, when you look at phones, how they've upgraded over the years, when you look at cars, when you look at the way houses are made over thousands of years and how it's been upgraded, and then you realize, why does a classroom from like the 1930s look the same as like now in 2025? Like, how crazy is that? Because I'm not telling you that going to college or receiving any form of education is bad. It is an amazing thing to be provided this knowledge, especially if it's for free. But just think twice before you like fully set your sights on it. Because it is not for everybody. So many people struggle with education because education was made for the quiet types of people, the people that memorize things well. But at the end of the day, in the real world, does it really matter if you know your science or geography or English or whatever language you're learning or something, like if you get 100% on that test? Because no one's going to remember that. Do you get me? Like, all those tests you're constantly stressed about, all those tests I've ever been stressed about, those do not matter. They don't. Because the only thing that matters is what you provide. Example, what if you learn multiple languages and then you speak like, I don't know, 4 languages, and then think of how many companies would hire you just for the fact that you can speak more than 1 language. Or maybe you know how to build bikes. Imagine how useful you could be to a company that builds bikes. Or if you want to think even bigger, maybe make your own bike company, make your own bikes, hire people, and sell bikes to people. Or maybe think bigger with the languages. Maybe start your own website and maybe start like Zoom meetings for people all around the world where you teach them different languages. Maybe start a YouTube channel about different languages. Maybe you love reading, then maybe start a YouTube channel about reading. Or maybe you love just talking to the camera, then start that. Just do something that is outside of the typical like system of society. Because it doesn't matter if you feel successful as a doctor or as a lawyer. That's fine. That's great for you. But if you have something to the side that you can back up on, and then you realize that you started when you were 18, maybe you started doing like a YouTube channel or like a business, and somehow that business got maybe like even a tiny bit famous, or maybe that YouTube channel has like 1 million followers now, and you earn money from whatever this thing is. And by the time you're 25, you can retire. Quite literally, you can stop working. That's how crazy life is. I don't think we realize how early we can retire. Because society has convinced you need to work your whole life. People are like, I hear people constantly being like, oh yeah, it gets harder at work. And sometimes I find myself asking, because so many people complain about work or about school, and then I ask myself, these people are complaining, but it's their choice to be in school. It's their choice to be at work. No one is telling them they have to do it, but they're still doing it because it's the only thing they know. So I'm not here saying that school is utterly useless and it won't get you anywhere in life, but I'm just asking you, is this really what you want? Because I was convinced as a kid that I wanted to be a scientist. I looked at how hard the schooling system is, and then I realized how much easier my life can be. I'm testing new opportunities, I'm exploring new fields, new hobbies, new forms of learning, whatever. But I'm doing something other than just school. I'm not relying on school. Because if you only rely on the system that's been set up for you, how can you ever create your own? Because at the end of the day, we want freedom. We want our own life, right? So why are you letting people set the stones in your path? Because here I am trying my best to create a path that is not with everybody else. And people are constantly telling me, you cannot do this because this is not the way. You have to go to school, you have to get a degree. I constantly hear this so many times. But then I think about it. I just ask myself, why are people saying this? And it's because they know nothing else. Or even if they do know someone else that succeeded differently, they just think it's impossible. They just think it's luck. But people don't realize that this sort of thing, this social media, whatever, it's years of hard work. People don't realize this. They're always like, oh yeah, it's easy, but at the same time, I'm too lazy to do it, or like, no, that's stupid, I'm not doing that. And they never try. It's the humiliation that gets to absolutely everybody. But what if you just ask yourself, what are you scared of? Why are you scared so much of this judgment? Because it's your life, it's nobody else's. So please, just if you don't want to go to school, drop out. It doesn't matter what other people are saying, whether it's your own parents that are telling you to not drop out. If you want to, and if you want to pursue a different life, if it's your dream to live on a farm in the middle of nowhere, or if it's your dream to live in New York and live like a very expensive life, that's your choice. And now ask yourself, what steps do I have to take to do it? And some people are like, oh yeah, but I can't take those steps. I don't have the energy, or I'm too scared, or whatever. If you need to, then you will. Because if it's necessary for your survival, a human can do so many amazing things. So once you actually understand how important your life is and that you should lead it however you want to, you will start taking those necessary steps. But you have to realize that first, because people can say it to you 100 times, your life is important, you have to go do this, or maybe you should go to school, or maybe you shouldn't, whatever. You have to ask yourself, what do you want? And don't think of it from a perspective of somebody else's. Think of it from your perspective. And even if it's unrealistic, just think about it. Is this what I want? What do I want to do? If I could do anything in this world right now, what would I be doing? What would I actually want to do? And don't ask yourself in like a form of laziness, because everyone's lazy. But if we asked ourselves every single question from our lazy perspective, we wouldn't go anywhere. So just ask yourself truly, why are you here? What are you doing with your life? What is your purpose? And whatever answer you hear from yourself, go do it. And if you don't hear an answer from yourself, find out. Because no one else is going to find out for you. Anyway, you all, thank you so much for watching. I know this was a really long video, but if you stuck to the end, thank you so much. Hope to see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.